Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. Today is a huge day for FC26 news, not only with what has been leaked, which we're going to talk about and look at today, but also what's going to come today, news-wise, potentially the full database as it wasn't dropped yesterday or it's not 100% live yet, but of course, those pitch notes detailing everything about the launch of FC26. This is going to give us a whole lot of detail today, guys, and I want to kind of outline what to be watching for and what to be looking for before we get to that today. And also, these leaks are looking kind of interesting so far as we've got them yesterday. Before we get into things, guys, if you're excited for FC26, make sure to drop a thumbs up on the video, hype the video, and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. Now, I want to start with what is fresh news from FC26 from yesterday on Thursday here with a new PC deep dive. I know this doesn't impact everybody because we're not all on PC, but it actually does kind of impact everybody because it specifically addresses cheaters and a new anti-cheat system that they are implementing for PC. The biggest pieces of this article that are here are the fact that PC is going to be able to have a frame rate of up to 240 FPS, so you can go beyond 120 FPS on your PC. That's really, really big for those that play on PC. There's also some interesting information here about graphic settings, display guides. So if you do play PC, this is a must-read article 100%. But the biggest news, first part at least of it, is 240 FPS, and here at the bottom, this is where it impacts everybody. They are mentioning that there's a new anti-cheat for EAFC 26 called EA Javelin, and evidently this is their anti-cheat that they've had for a number of years, but they're evolving it. They used the word evolution, actually, similar to how we evo cards in FC, but they're saying that this new update to the anti-cheat is supposed to really make a big difference in FC26. Kernel level protection. It's going to be the deepest level of the operating system. I'm not a huge PC geek, so I would use the word nerd, but not really a nerd. I'm not into all those numbers and all into that stuff. So this, to me, I don't fully understand. But for some of you guys who do, I think this is worth reading. But this is impacting all of us technically, because if this anti-cheat does kind of crack down on the cheaters, we don't have to worry about crossplay being off like we did for such a long time in FC25. Like, the hackers were really bad in FC25. They were pretty prevalent. Not that they were like super prevalent, but like I feel like I heard a lot more about them in FC25 than I did in maybe like FC24 in these first couple of years that PC is joining the next-gen cross-play kind of situation in online gaming. But if there's going to be less hackers on the game, that's going to be a better gameplay experience for all of us. We won't have to have that worry on Xbox and on PlayStation if we're going to match up with a hacker on PC. So I don't think they're going to completely eliminate the hackers because that's almost impossible. But if they, eliminate like 75% of them, then this could be a really good thing. So really interesting here to read through if you are on PC. I think that is a must read. The requirements specifically as well. You have to have a pretty decent PC to get this stuff done, but it makes sense. A lot of you guys have solid PCs to play the game on that console, and there's a benefit to be playing on PC in terms of the graphics, especially with 240 FPS. Now, I want to talk about ratings because we mentioned in yesterday's video, the ratings might be officially out on EA's website on Thursday. They were not. We actually had a funny jump scare almost on this website because I refreshed it at one moment in time after the content drop yesterday, and it said showing 17,000 results, and there was hundreds of pages down here of cards, and I even moved pages around. I was seeing bronze cards and stuff, and I was like, wait, is this actually real? Is it being updated right now before my eyes? But it was in fact the FC25 ratings reveal from last year. The web page just glitched out, was showing last year's ratings because the top card was 91 Rodri. Obviously he's a 90 this year, not a 91. So I would have to imagine that this would be fully released. I mean, we even had more tweets yesterday about the MLS ratings. That EMLS account that said full ratings reveal on Thursday, they were just talking about MLS ratings. So that's a little unfortunate. But guys, I'd have to imagine once again that it is today, along with the big news article that we're waiting for. It should be today that we get the full database release. This is almost the time every single year when EA's full database opens. And just to mention this too, we've been talking about ratings for a long time. Of course, we have the Radar FC site that is actually back up and working again. The FootMine site is up as well with the leaked ratings. This would actually be super hype, and we would be fully into the rating reveal right now if there were no leaks. If we didn't know any leaks until EA started posting them, can you imagine how hyped we'd be for the full database? It'd be so much more fun. We'd be figuring out all these cards that we've known now for weeks with leaks, like right away before the game comes out. So it'd be super hype if there were no leaks, but that's something we can't even really fathom now because of the way the leaks have continued to change things. Now, I want to get into leaks though, because we have these leaks. It's information that we want to know about, and it's news about FC26 that is probably coming today, but it's been leaked early. Guys, a new version of Evo cards, and I think that these Evo cards look way better than what we have seen in FC25. I was just looking actually to kind of compare some of the Evo card designs from 25 and 26. There still is a little bit of a green aspect to this. This was leaked as probably the base Evo card design, like the less crazy one, probably the Evolutions 1 design, if you will. But, you know, let's just do the quick comparison here. I'm in FC25 over here on the console. And if I click on Evolutions 1 and I see the card designs here with like Puteus, right? That Puteus Player of the Month card that was so good. We never liked those designs, right? That green, it just doesn't, it looks so bland. It just doesn't look good. We saw it so much inside of FC25 as well. That was one of the things I think that inspired EA's changing Evolutions this year to be able to keep the same card design as you evolve it to a new Evo. Sometimes, not all the time, you can keep the same card design, right? But this Evo design, I think looks way cleaner. I think that's the best way to describe it. I like the darker background. I like the helix, the double helix twist here. That looks really cool. And then the outside border of the card as well. I'd have to imagine that would be like the base Evolutions design. But there's another one leaked on top of that, and that is a advanced Evo card design, which may be similar to like the Evolutions 2 and 3 that we saw in FC25. I'll remind you guys of what that looks like in a second too. But that one, I think that looks better than compared to this in FC25, to be completely honest. Like there, it's just, you know, a lot of green, a little bit of gold around the edges. And again, like it's not like these card designs were terrible. We don't like them. But at first, they weren't so bad. But it just got worse because we saw them over and over and over. And it was just the same looking green cards in your team. These, there's a lot of potential with these. And actually with these cards as well, and the background of these static cards, if you will, as they're shown as just images here, what we have to remember, and this is off of one of the pages here that I wanted to pull up, Radar FC. Watch Yashin's card. I don't know if these animations are going to be in Ultimate Team, but do you see how that card moved right there with that animation? If that can happen on this icon card, then what's to say that this double helix couldn't twist on the back as sort of kind of like a little refresh animation, whatever you want to call it, on a card? That would be really cool. That would be super cool if those like helixes could twist. I don't know if that's too much to be asking for or too high of an expectation to place, but seeing those cards there on the leak database do that movement right there, that has a lot of potential. So I like this card design better, of course, than the Evolutions 2. I even think I like it more than the Evolutions 3. It just looks more unique. It looks more special. Clean is the word that I keep using to describe this as well. So those are two of the card design leaks that we do have right now. I do believe there could be more Evolution designs coming out. But once again, I think these leaks are coming from the fact that these guys are getting some part of an early look into or an early image of the actual launch update pitch notes that we're expecting today on Friday. Now, I want to turn the page and talk a little more about some leaks. We have a leak for a player SBC that has been teased already, and this is by TheFutAccountant. Of course, if you guys played FC25, you remember TheFutAccountant. He was the guy who was always tweeting the Evos, and he would say like, yes or no, would the card fit? What was it? None or we. He would say we or none if the card fit or if it did not. And he's leaking here that he has Evolution leaks and FC26 SBCs is what he's talking about right here by quote tweeting this card design. So somebody responded with SBC Monsieur, and he says FC26 SBC center mid position, positions CM and CDM. Now, a lot of people are taking the liberty of assuming that this could be a flashback SBC because one of the first SBCs that we have every single year to start the game is a flashback. In FC24, we had a really good flashback KDB. In FC25, we had a flashback David Alaba. And we got to talk about this for a little bit, But the potential here for a CM and CDM would be Paul Pogba, because he's got center mid and CDM positions on his card. And I mean, that would be a card that would seem too good to be true for a flashback SBC at the start of the game. It really would. But think about it. If you're EA Sports and you drop a flashback Paul Pogba to start the year. This is the flashback Paul Pogba from a few years ago. This is not what it would look like now. I will talk about this tweet in a second, though. If you drop a flashback Paul Pogba right away, like, that means all the people that didn't buy the early edition of the game are going to want to go and buy the early access Ultimate Edition of the game, because usually that flashback SBC is only out for a week, and those who just get the standard edition of FC 26 will not be able to get that SBC done because, again, the KDB and the Alaba from last year were kind of specific to content only released during that window of time. So we are definitely reaching here a little bit. Unless there are leaks posted after I post this video, then you'll know for sure who it is. But I have to imagine again that some of these leaks could be coming from the pitch notes that we are so eagerly awaiting today. I don't want to say it's Pogba and get too much hype into it, but that's exactly where people's minds are going right now, because that's one of the most exciting cards coming to FC 26. A lot of us, for nostalgia purposes and just for the redemption of Pogba's career and the ability that he has to play football again after all that he's gone through, would love to see a card for him as he starts playing in real life for Monaco and is back on the pitch. So this tweet, though, from Foot Sheriff, I do think could play a part in this, because it was a few days ago, September 5th, Foot Sheriff, the OG leaker of leakers, right, just randomly posted this Paul Pogba flashback card. No caption, nothing, just this tweet. And when I saw him tweet this, I was like, what's he doing? That's random. But now it kind of maybe could play into things here. Guys, maybe it is a flashback Paul Pogba. Maybe it's not. I feel like we have to temper our expectations and our excitement there for a little bit. The only negative thing about a flashback Paul Pogba at the very start of the game would be you wouldn't be able to evolve your own. And that maybe for some people would be a bit of a disappointing thing, not being able to control their own Paul Pogba. But to be honest, a flashback would probably have a dynamic image. And I would be so curious to know what stats he would have. How high rated would he be? Would he be 85, 86, 87? Flashback KDB was an 87. The flashback David Alaba was an 87 as well. But both of those cards, you know, early game with a slower power curve this year, kind of seemed too good. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Anyways, watch out for more leaks and news related to that. I do want to pull up a leak here. I think it was Foot Sheriff who tweeted out earlier today. We do have a Player of the Month winner for Serie A that has been announced, and that is Yildiz. He has won the Serie A Player of the Month. Again, we're not expecting him to get an SBC. It said on the Player of the Month website that Serie A, La Liga, and Premier League were not going to get SBCs. But you never know, because before we've seen them say not going to get SBCs, and then they do in the end. I was actually a little surprised that Thuram did not win this one, because he had more goals and assists, but Yildiz does end up winning it. So that's very interesting to note. All right, now let's talk about what we're looking forward to today, guys. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this, but seriously, there is going to be so much information today to digest. It is going to be a lot from this article coming today, most likely for this year in FC 26. Now, it's not 100% that it'll be today, but all signs are kind of pointing towards it dropping. It could also be on Monday, but it's looking like it's going to be today, guys. Now, the reason why this is so big is because we're going to learn how to start FC 26 and what different little changes they're going to be adding to 26 in this article here. Like right here, last year they mentioned the dates. We know when the dates are happening, right? Companion, web app launch, early access launch right there. But it's the little things in here, right? Last year, this was the first time that they confirmed returning user rewards. I'm sure that this year in this pitch notes, we're going to be looking for that as well, because we should be having welcome backpacks this year too. They talk about early access and the worldwide launch, and then they start mentioning what content we're going to get. The season #1, which of course we've already seen has been leaked to be named World Tour England 66, but they're probably even going to tell us some of the cards that are in this season, right? Like last year they showed us some of the objectives. First of all, they're going to tell us how much SP we're going to be chasing in weekly objectives and some of the rewards that are going to be in the season pass, and then the cards that'll be in there as well. If they do Total Rush Or if they do, again, the World Tour, we'll probably see some English cards in here. So be watching out for that. And since this year is the first year with a paid season pass at the beginning as well, we're going to have to look out for that very, very carefully and see what sort of information they give us on that. Maybe they'll tell us the price of the season pass. Will it be 500,000 coins? There's no way, right? They're going to have to adjust the price. 500K for the later parts of the end game with the levels of content that we had seemed okay. But it can't be 500K to start the game. I know we all get the premium pass included with their Ultimate Edition if you're getting on the game early, but like 250K, 200,000 coins, are the packs going to be tradable? How many Evo consumables are a part of that? We have so many questions, right? All of those should be answered by this news and information today. And again, that's going to impact how we start FC 26 on the web app even. If there's ways that we can get SP without playing the game on the web app, but that can unlock a couple packs for us at level 1 or level 2, that's huge, right? And then speaking of some of the objectives and stuff as well, we're very, very much looking forward to the rewards for FUT champs and division rivals. Of course, this year we have challengers in there as well for the second level. Kind of the division 6 or so and under of rivals will get you into the challengers mode. Really curious to know the rewards for that. Really curious to know what division it is where EA makes the break between champs and challengers. And again, slower power curve they mentioned, and Jamie even said this in the interview that we had with him. He said, be careful this year with the expectations for rewards. We're going to have to tone down the rewards to make sure that they don't have to keep the power curve moving that quickly like they did last year. Remember last year we saw these rewards and we were like, oh my gosh, these are crazy. And they were. 200,000 coins for rank 1, untradeable icon pack every week, tradable 8510 and 84 times 10. We were blown away by those rewards last year. So we're going to watch that very closely this year to see how much worse they are. Like, that's the actual word. They're going to be worse, okay, than last year. But we have to maintain the expectation of and realize that worse rewards is actually okay, because we're going to be spending less time playing these modes of rivals and champs because there's no playoffs. And in rivals, they said they're going to require less wins. And then we're going to replace some of that time, hopefully, with fun tournaments and fun events. And that's the next thing that I want to talk about too, the tournaments and the events. We've already had a little bit of information inside of the first FUT deep dive inside of here, but Gauntlet specifically, they told us this is going to be the Gauntlet that drops in FC 26 at the start. But what are the rewards? What are the tournaments that are going to be out? What, stuff like that about tournaments that we need to know. They said this so many times, actually 8 times in this first article. They mentioned final details will be released with the launch update pitch notes. So that's very, very, very important as we kind of scroll through these things today. Last thing I want to say is this should give us information on squad battles, even on evolutions as well. It might even tell us what our first evolution or 2 of the year is going to be. Those things may be leaked ahead of time before we get to this pitch notes actually being released, but that is just something that I wanted to mention. They barely talked about heroes this year, but we just had that vote for the Bayern hero, right? It was Elber is the one that I voted for, Effenberg, and Pizarro. It was those 3. I guess hopefully we'll find out soon which one of those 3 won. Maybe they'll announce that in this one today too. Club membership. Yeah, exactly. What rewards are we going to get for being club members? And what is a club member? Did you have to play FC 25 from a certain amount of time? And even did you have to play FC 24? Stuff like that. And then some of the preseason rewards as well. It should tell us when we get those preseason rewards that we've been going after by finishing the season pass, getting SP, doing objectives and evolutions in FC 25 still. So that's why I keep talking about this launch update pitch notes. It's a big freaking deal. It is. And hopefully today, an hour or 2 before content, it is released. Unfortunately, I will not be streaming today. I'm going to be at a wedding today. But once I get home, it'll be pretty late. The video tomorrow may be a couple hours late. It'll be a late night for me, but I'm going to want to talk about everything, deep dive through it, pull out the most important points. And then, of course, we'll be fully into how to start the web app, all those sorts of informational things this article will give us kind of that last bit of info we needed to really secure the knowledge on how to best start FC 26. So expect a lot of content upcoming on this week on the channel related to how to start FC 26 based on those pitch note articles today. But that's going to be the video for me today, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a thumbs up, comment down below if you have any questions, and maybe comment out of 10 down below your hype levels. Oh, just hot and off the press. I told you guys I am recording this a little bit early. FUT Agent is saying our first Evolution, Sissoko and Musa can be used. So it looks like it's maybe a midfielder Evo as well, but it maybe will only be for silvers. Stats boost, playstyles boost. Intriguing. So that's our, I guess, first Evo leak that is just dropped for FC26 as well. Again, I have to imagine that that is from some of the news that we are going to get in the pitch notes today. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Oh, just kidding. We got one more. See, I'm telling you, I'm recording this early. I might miss a few leaks here. Game Changer Plus, Finesse Shot, Intercept, Goalkeeper. This is definitely Season Pass. Goalkeeper Boost. Wow, our first Goalkeeper Evo. Inventive Plus, Shadow Striker Plus Rolls. So, wow, they're giving out playstyle pluses in the Season Pass. Yeah, he says most likely Season Pass. That's got to be in there, in my opinion. Intercept, Pinged, Finesse Shot, Base. Wow. Okay, so watch out for more of this news today coming from the pitch notes, man. That's probably where these leaks are coming from, and we will see you guys there for a review of those pitch notes tomorrow on the channel. So, TheFutAccountant, guys, have a great Friday. Peace out.